Our commodity is time. Each second that passes by, another legend dies. Another day, another goodbye. Part the mountains so we can fly high. World is yours like a blimp in the sky. Grateful for the legacy you left behind. Another day, another goodbye.
These elders trying to rewind time to still the youth instead of passing the juice as if your time had a choice. These new congregations inside old conversations addressing the undressable like they have a voice. Oh, Messiah's not giving the blessings to new disciples. They can't decipher who's worthy. There's no apostles, just old winos and used to be as we used to idle. The black slingers preaching agendas that corner gospel. The mothers of the block with the hope that quote the Bible for the gladiators behind the war that's in survival. Same block but different allegiance, gotta be rivals. The ones who say that they got your back, never's behind you. So careful for your left and the right, see who's beside you. Don't let them know the door is unlocked, just let it guide you. Astro projects the soul, now let it find you. Take control, you lose it all, gotta confide you.
Our commodity is time. Each second that passes by, another legend dies. Another day, another goodbye. Part the mountains so we can fly high. World is yours like a blimp in the sky. Grateful for the legacy you left behind. Another day, another goodbye.
Tomorrow ain't promised, so I'ma shake, ride a roll. Karma creeps kinda slow motion till the snatch of soul open. 724, hoping that we never go into the darkness. We regret sick of playing second best with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. What's my legacy? A shit ton of dead blood, sweat, weed, and Hennessy. I just wanna leave a dent so they can remember me. Not a pocket full of lint filled with empty dreams. Till that bridge fall down, I'ma cross it, trying to slide into my prime. I can't force it. Proper precautions might work, but it'll cost you. Cause a rabbit trying to race against a tortoise is a forfeit. Slow and easy is the pace that I take. Any mistakes that I made along the way help shape me to the king that I am. At this moment, I'm just breathing in the air while my girl Angie told me.
Our commodity is time. Each second that passes by, another legend dies. Another day, another goodbye. Part the mountains so we can fly high. World is yours like a blimp in the sky. Grateful for the legacy you left behind. Another day, another goodbye.
What's up, everybody? Salutations, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Twist Johnson. So grab your substance and your drinks, or you can stay sober-minded if you want. With that being said, let's start the show. But if you feeling my vibe, like, share, and subscribe. Oh, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. That's Twist Johnson underscore TWISTJOHNSON underscore. Okay, we got a great show for you today. But before we jump into that, you know what I like to do. We're gonna pay these bills. So we got the current events that nobody asked for. So what I got today for you is today in 1974, airplane crashed into the Empire State Building. The Army bomber B-25 crashed into the 76th floor of the Empire State Building, killing 14 people. And it took a year for the construction to repair the damage, which then added the addition of the needle on the skyscraper that we see today. That was added. So in 1974, there was a plane that crashed into the Empire State Building, and that's what happened today on July 28th. Now, we're going to introduce our guest for today. It's a treat for me. So, we got two ladies, and we're going to let them introduce themselves, say where they're from, and drop their hashtag so you can find them. And then we'll do the pour out and the pour up. Okay, let's go.
Hey guys, my name is Crystal. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Currently serve in the military right now. And you can reach me on Facebook at Crystal Nicole, that's KrystalNicole, or Instagram at Crystal's Corner. Corner is spelled with a K, underscore nails braids. That's just what I do on the side when I'm not doing my military stuff. So yeah.
Hey, hey, welcome. Who else we got here?
Hey y'all, it's Davina. You can find me on Instagram at Just Davina, DAVINAT, or on Facebook at Davina V Thomas. I am a veteran slash soldier, I guess you could say. I served 10 years active duty, and I am currently in the reserve. I look forward to chatting with you guys.
There you have it,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen. Okay, before we even introduce what this segment is going to be, we got the pour out or pour up. So, ladies, you both take your time to give a pour out or a pour up, and then I'll pour out the cup for you guys. So, no order, you guys could go. What would you like to do?
Go ahead, Vina.
Hey, okay, so what I would like to do is I'm going to pour up. I'm
Okay.
going to pour up. And I'm going to pour up for those that are not with us, especially my dad, because he is the reason why I am where I am today, and also the reason why Twist is where he is at today. So yeah, I'm gonna pour up for him, and not pour out, but pour up for him.
Amen. Crystal, would you like to pour up or pour out for someone?
I just like to pour out to all the people who are serving in the military right now. It is a hard thing to do, and it's only 1% of the people that can actually commit to doing something. So I just wanted to pour out to us who are currently in, who've previously served, who are still figuring things out, and yeah, that's what I like to do.
Amen. There you have it, ladies
Pour,
and gentlemen. So we got to pour on, pour up. Here we go.
Wait, what you pouring out? I want to know. Shit, I need
Hey,
some.
hey, listen. We being friendly now. This is a nice thing. It's water.
Okay.
Wait, today is Sunday, right? Okay, yes, it is water. So,
Okay, it's the Lord's Day.
yes, amen. So, with that being said, I mean, I guess you guys caught that. I have my sibling and I also have my cousins. But the great thing about this is that this segment is dedicated to the people out there that protect and serve us civilians. We're talking about the force. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
that's right. Be all that you can be in the army, whatever you want to say. I don't know if that's a song, but
pour.
so yeah. So yes, I'm excited because as you can see in my backyard, I do have people who serve. So for you people out there that serve and you protect, this is for you. But we're gonna have some fun with it. So the first question that I want from you guys are, what are some myths that society gets wrong about the service?
I'll go. This is
Okay.
Davina speaking. If you haven't caught my voice yet, one myth that society has is that we're rich. I don't know who made that up. I don't know who told you guys that we are getting to it, that we are getting the bag. We are ordinary people. We live just like you guys. There are so many service members who live paycheck to paycheck. There are so many service members who get no pay due. We pay taxes. We get audited by the IRS, just like you guys.
Hmm.
There's no special like protection or cape that comes from being in the military. We get a paycheck for
Hmm.
doing a job just like you guys.
Mm, mm.
Yes, I agree with all of that. We are not rich. We're out here trying it like everybody else.
Hello. If
I thought
anything,
I thought y'all were rich.
if anything, we're just right above poverty level, and that's because we just get health care. And I guess
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
is something that everybody speaks of, like, oh, you guys get health care. But what you don't know is we also pay for that health care. It comes out of our check. It is
Mm.
not
Hmm.
free. We pay for it.
Hmm.
So if
Okay.
you was thinking that we don't, yes, we do. They didn't just say, "Hey, you know what? You came in the military. We're gonna give you free health care." No,
Hmm.
Mm.
it comes out of my check as well.
Yeah. Oh, there you have it. I mean, I do. I am guilty. I thought that joining like the force will make you rich because that's what I saw on TV. But,
I
uh,
mean, there's avenues to still get rich while you're in the military, but joining the military does not get you rich.
Yeah, not just joining the military. What you do with your money while you're in the military, that's what'll take you. Now, what I will say is I won't take away from the military. I will say yes that it does create space where you get a head start. And the reason
mm,
why I'm
Yes.
saying that is because one, they can't just fire you like a regular job. Like you were late today, you're fired. oh, you were late
Mm,
3 times, you're fired. It's a little bit more complicated than that, especially because, we're the art of war. So you don't want to
yeah,
just fire your people who basically volunteered to go to war.
Mhm.
And then I will say that there are some bonuses for being in the military or when you join the military, you do get some type of some incentives. Sometimes not everyone, but some service members do get incentives, and we get paid on the first and the 15th, whether we
mm,
show up sick or whether we don't show up sick, whether we show up to
Mhm.
work whole or whether we don't show up to work whole, we still do get paid. So yes,
mm.
Mhm.
yes, that is
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Let's go into another question. Okay, so we got two different areas of the service here. So, what's the difference between the Navy and the Army? And there is another area. What's the other area? I forget it, but
Marines, Coast
Marines.
Guard, Air
Okay,
Force.
but we're focused because we have you two. Let's focus on the Navy and the Army. Like, what's the difference between those two?
I would say Army is more land based
Yes,
and Navy is more sea based.
yes. I
Mm,
was just about to
Not to
say
say that
I'm
I,
land cheesy.
yeah, basically that to put
mm.
it in the simplest of terms. But
King
yes,
Kong and
in the
Godzilla.
that's
Good.
actually I
That
like
was
that movie.
actually
But yeah,
Mm.
good.
That is. Thank you. So it's a twist of things. All right, now proceed. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add that although we are sea based, there are opportunities for us to be on shore. We have a regular rotation of whether we're on a ship, which is sea duty, or whether we're on shore duty. So, but our
Mm.
primary mission is to protect the seas
Mm.
for the Navy.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, protecting the seas. Is this? I mean, do y'all count the sharks? This. I hate sharks.
I mean, when
Like,
you're on deployment and you are out to sea and you're in all of these foreign country waters, you see so much stuff. Like I
oh,
had never seen like whales and dolphins so close and stuff like that. So yeah, you get those opportunities, but
yeah.
it's yeah.
No, no. As far okay. So as far as the army part, you guys protect on the land.
Yes.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like?
When it comes to combat, we protect the land. We go into the villages. We basically fight on land. Exactly what
Mm.
she says. They protect the seas. We fight on the land. What the way that they design the military is for everyone to have their space, their sector to cover.
Hmm.
So when we
Okay.
all come together, we come full circle, and we protect this earth
Hmm.
globally in 360.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay,
Love that.
she got some
Yeah.
media training out
I love this. I feel so
Oh, you know.
under. I love this. All right. Let me ask this. Uniforms. You guys have a uniform that you guys wear. What like is there any perks to that? I think your name goes on it. Is that something you have to wear? Like after a certain season, you don't have to wear the uniform. Can regular civilians have it?
No. Okay. Regular civilians that are not currently serving cannot wear our uniforms. What do they call it? Act of valor or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
could be saying it wrong. Stolen valor. I think that's what it is. Stolen valor. So it'll be stolen valor if you are wearing a uniform that you are not authorized to wear, or if while we're in the uniform we're wearing something that we're not authorized to wear. So that's stolen valor. And then as far as when we're not on duty, if we're not going to work, we can wear our regular civilian clothes. Like
Yeah, because
Mm.
if I'm not at
that's
work, I'm
another myth.
fine.
So back to the myths of the military. Sorry if this is
Okay. Yeah.
throwing
No.
us
Go
off,
ahead.
but I wanted to say how everybody thinks that because we're in the military, we don't well, like we don't do everyday stuff. We don't live our everyday lives. There's people in the military that has businesses. There's people that's doing so many different things that it's not
Right.
just all. Yes, we are required and we represent the military 24/7. We could get called in at any time, but
Mm.
at the same time we could still live our normal lives. Like you would be surprised at all the stuff you hear in the military. You think that we are like exempt from and something is different, but we're regular humans like everybody else. Yes, we go through the same things that everybody goes through with financial, mental health, all that other stuff. So we are not exempt from any of that stuff.
Mm.
But
I
yeah,
want to
so
touch
back
it. I want
to
to touch on
uniforms.
that.
Yeah.
I want to.
Oh,
I
go
want to
ahead.
touch.
I mean, maybe not diagnosed, but I probably do suffer from some forms of PTSD because as you go through experiences, whether it's good, bad, you have a reaction to those bad things that may happen to you in the military or in your civilian sector or what have you. But I think all of us have some form of PTSD. We may not know that it is PTSD or we're not fully like diagnosed. But for me, I suffer from anxiety and depression,
Mm,
and that is caused by things outside of the military and some
okay.
things that give me anxiety and stress about within the military. But the one
Mm,
good thing about the military is that we're shifting how we handle mental health and the
Yes, yes.
seriousness of it. So we have those resources to fall back on, whether it be therapy, medication. There's a whole like plethora of resources that we can use. So yes, we still experience those things, but we are fortunate enough to have the ability to have the resources to help us through our dark times, good times, whatever the case may be.
mm-hmm. V,
Yes,
you want to add some? Yeah.
yes. I do suffer from PTSD and as well as anxiety and depression. Go figure. But the thing is that mental health is it's important. It's being spoken about today, which is amazing, and I am so proud of everyone just for being vulnerable and even
Mhm,
being saving space for other people to be vulnerable and speak
mhm,
about their mental illnesses. What I will say is if you do suffer from PTSD, please just get help. Whether that is childhood PTSD, whether that is military PTSD, adult PTSD, whatever it is, just get help because you don't
mhm,
want your PTSD to take over your life.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out
mhm,
to some of my battles. We went to war, we did our thing, and those of us that came home, we still have to live with what we saw out there, what we went through. And some people, they just, they can't operate in a normal space because of maybe loud noises or they're not
mhm.
untrusting of people. They're worried about life. And then some other people, like myself, I'm just grateful to still be here. So,
Mm.
Mhm. Amen
no
to that
matter
one.
no matter
Yes.
what no
Oh,
matter
that part.
what I face or whenever my PTSD does decide to rear its head, I speak to it. I name my
Mhm.
PTS Blue and I say, Blue, chill out.
Mm.
I can't have that. We not gonna tango today because today is gonna be a great day.
Absolutely.
Amen. Yes.
I love that. You said battles. That means like for those of you who don't know, the force in the service, they have their own culture. They have a lot of terminologies. Like how do you guys interact and socialize with each other? I've heard you say battle in the past. I think I heard you even say that's my soldier at a point. What are the
Mhm.
terminologies like? How do y'all say what's up to each other? Like, yo, what's up, my army person? Or like how do you do this?
No fool.
I mean, y'all got your own slang. Like, tell us like what that is like. Like for us, we not probably y'all probably have a whole conversation in front of us, and we won't know what you're talking about.
So when I say battle, when you say battle, that's the person you serve with, right?
Okay.
Mhm.
So I when I deployed to Afghanistan, whoever I deployed with, that those are the people I went into battle with.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
that's why you call them battle. If you hear me say my soldier, that is my subordinate. Me, I'm an NCO. So if I'm saying my soldier, that is someone who is lower ranking than me, and
Okay.
basically like I am their, let's say, supervisor.
Okay.
Mhm. Same thing with the Navy. So, at the same way that she has battles, we
Hmm.
have shipmates. And sometimes people like to be called a shipmate, or some people don't like to be called a shipmate. But that's like, hey, that's my person over there. That's my shipmate. We
Okay.
serve together. Now, if there's something that if someone I am a supervisor over, I'll just say, oh, my sailor, or call them by their rank and rate. Like I'm a YN1, so that's a yeoman first class. So I'd say,
Hmm.
oh, that's my YN2 over there, or that's my whatever their position is. You just call it like it is.
Uh.
There's nothing special about
Right. And
that.
and when we see each other, we say, "What up? What's popping?
Yeah.
What's up?"
Oh. I mean,
Yeah.
that is very special because I'm
The reason
listening to
why I
both of
say
you
that
guys, and
and I needed to highlight that is because the military is a melting pot. So yes,
okay.
we're from New York, but I have friends in Nebraska. I have friends in
Yes.
South Carolina. I have friends in North Dakota, you know, and I'm calling them my friends, but my sister or brother to the left and the right, everybody that wears a uniform, whichever color it is, whichever pattern, whoever wears a
Okay.
Hmm.
uniform, we're all over the place. So you got to think
Yes.
if I'm meeting somebody may come over and they may speak like me or they may speak different, but either way, we all gonna say hello. How you doing?
Hmm.
I love that.
What's
Yep.
up? Depending on where you from, we might speak the same language. I might say what's poppin', what's up,
Mm.
yeah. But
Well,
it's
How,
regular. We
how do
really are
you
regular people. We really are
how do
regular
how do
people.
you address like your like do you got like terminology for like a girlfriend or boyfriend or husband? Like, oh, that's my plus soldier. I don't know. Like,
No.
I call
that's my water
I
baby, my
call my
water baby.
husband if I want to be like real cute. I call him by his rank,
Oh
or
yeah.
yeah, because he outranked me, so I'd be like, that's seven, daddy, Odie,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
yeah. But I mean, they our boyfriends, girlfriends, husbands, wives, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Whatever y'all call each other, we call each other.
Okay. All right, there you have it. I mean, they have their own set of terminology, but it's still to where it's a connection to the society. Let's get into
Yes.
that dating part. How do you navigate dating or being married when being active in the service? Or is it better? It's a two-sided question. Is it better to try to engage in relationships inside of the service rather than dealing with someone out?
I would say there's always a pros and cons to something, right? So
Mhm.
dating someone in the military, when you're having those conversations, you don't necessarily have to explain so much because
Okay.
they understand where you're coming from. They understand the acronyms. They understand the nuances that goes on with how we navigate in the military
Right.
or
They
what
speak
have
your
you.
language,
They
right?
speak your language. But now, when you date a civilian, yes, you have to explain those things, but sometimes it can be exciting because you're giving them a piece of who you are that they don't know, and then vice versa. So you're learning more about each other, and you're
Hmm.
not necessarily dealing with so much of the in-house. But if you date a civilian, they may not understand, like, hey, I can't come home at this time because I have duty,
Mm.
or I will be gone for 6 months. Like, when you date somebody that's in that realm, they understand that, but then sometimes they don't. So it's just navigating through that. It's just communication. Like, you just have to communicate with the person you're with, and also talk about like expectations. What do we expect, or what happens when this comes up? So our dating life is still the same thing, but if you talk to a lot of military people, they'll say, "Don't date nobody in the military. That is whack." Da da da. Like, they say that all the time. Or, oh,
Hmm.
can we cuss on this? I don't want to
Hmm.
cut.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, "Don't date that sailor over there. They fuck boys." You know what I mean? Like, because they're like,
Okay.
"Oh," because you get those negative connotations when things can happen about how, when people go on deployment, they, are separated from their original partner, and other things could happen. So yes, you have the negative aspect of that, but
Mhm.
there's also positives in that as well. So it's just, how mature are you? What are you willing to talk about? How can you communicate with your partner and go on from there?
And that's actually a great perspective to think about it. Like for me, I haven't I've dated someone that was in the service and I didn't like it. I didn't understand what she was talking about. And on top of that, it's like yes, like at any given moment, like she was gone, and I would be thinking like, well, them guys are in shape more than I am, so like they probably doing something over there in the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Just insecurities. Like yeah, man, like get out of
Yeah.
here. But I
Yeah, you
definitely
do
do
get those
agree.
insecurities.
I mean, I think for me, like if I was in the service, I probably, if I didn't already have an existing relationship, I think it would probably be harder to adjust if I was dating someone that's a civilian. I probably would prefer to have someone that's going the same journey and taking the
I was
same
just
steps.
gonna chime in and
Mm-hmm.
say people usually date in their comfort zone. So
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that people usually navigate to those that they're around. When you're in high school, you usually date someone in your school or from your block or something like that. Your teacher, unless you had a person outside of that field, you usually date within your field. And the reason
Yeah,
being is because those are the people you're around. When I
Mm-hmm.
lived in New York, I dated New York guys. There was
love that.
I wasn't going somewhere else to look for another guy. Now I'm in the
Mm-hmm.
military. I'm with the military. person. I'm married to someone in the military. And the
Mhm.
reason I prefer military is because I already know what you're doing. I don't have to figure it out. We're not trying to navigate life and figure those things out together. We kind of
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
already know what direction we're going in. We're not like all over the place. And I don't want to, it's not that you want to, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, yeah,
Not that you're trying to run away from.
right.
Uh-huh.
It's not that you don't want to take on that hardship, but it's just easier to deal with what you already know.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Mhm.
as a woman, I'm looking for what I consider a man for me. And
Mhm.
if I'm dating someone outside of the military, I know I have to figure out certain things about you as
Mm-hmm.
far as career choice, pay, and I have to pull some things out of you where in the military, I already know all of these things. There's no wool over my eyes. You can't lie
Mhm.
to me and say that you are a seven-figure guy and I know how much you make. Like this just
I could
it's
look
just
up the pay chart.
right. There's just certain things you just can't do because
That's
we
cold
share the
blooded.
same occupation.
Mhm.
Also there civilian when they date military, we find a lot of them coming in and saying, he said he was in the field, but I'm in the military. There's no
Oh
way
Mhm.
you
God.
could tell me you were in the field because I know where your unit is at. I know the language. I know everything that's going on. Just like if
Mhm.
I were to date a doctor, let's say I dated a doctor. He
Mm-hmm.
can tell me he's on call and he got called into the emergency room, and I know nothing about that. So I just have to
Uh-huh.
believe
Mhm.
that that happened. Not that I don't believe you, but come on now. If he is lying to me, I
Yeah.
have no way to even prove it. So now
Oh
I'm
God.
doing this dance that I don't want to do because I'm dating someone who is unfamiliar. Also, the moving part, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're a civilian, you may not want to leave where you're from or where
Mm.
you
Yeah.
live. In the
Okay.
military, we have no choice. When they say
Yep.
Mm.
get up and go, you get up and you go. And you need someone who's willing to navigate that space with you. Well, usually
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
military, because you're already in that space of get up and go, you don't
Uh,
mind getting up and go. Versus someone who is home based, they may be like, I don't want to leave my mom. Or what if they have children? My children are here. I don't want to leave. There's so many factors that you have to add in when it comes to dating someone who is in the military space and then dating a civilian.
mm-hmm.
We'll also add this too. When military members are dating civilians, they find that they're being used for a come up. Like they're being used for our benefits that we provide rather than dating for the person. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Because when you get married in the military, like, your spouse has access to things like the commissary or access to medical and dental care and stuff like that. So we have to be careful of those things when those come up because
mm.
the dating world period is already hard. Don't get me wrong, it's already hard, but
Oh yeah.
when you have to pull in things, aspects of the military on top of that, and like, oh, who's for me, who's not for me, you know what I mean, it becomes difficult. So I agree when she says like you rather deal with people who are on the same path as you, and a lot of the times we end up dating people in the military because we are with them all the time. Like we are
Mm-hmm.
working with these people more often than us being home without, our regular lives and stuff like that. So
Right.
you become friends, and it's so much easier to make friends and be cool with people and start going on that romantic level and stuff like that. So I've been on both sides, and I would say dating in the military, another military service member does make it a little easier.
Okay, that part. I mean, I'm thinking to where it's like I guess it sounds more better to date someone that's actually going in the same direction, and it saves
Hmm.
the conversations of what you don't know versus
Hmm.
what you trying to understand. Let's talk about dating and marriage while you both are serving and both are active. How do you guys create a balance to be with each other? Like, what does that look like if you guys are both being governed to go different places and go away for a time? Like, what does that balance look like?
That's more Davina's realm because I was married to a civilian. She's married to a military member.
Well, have you dated anyone that's inside of the military, like while in the Navy while you were both of you guys were active?
Yeah, all the time. All
And
the time. How you navigate that? Like, okay, so if you're not married, right, and you are dating someone in the military, you just like it goes back to communication. Someone may be on the same shift as you, or they may not be on the same shift. So
okay,
you have to find the things like you have to, hey, once a week we have to do date night. Like we have to make it apparent. Like as much as we're working for our careers, we need to work for this relationship.
right.
So whatever that entails for that relationship, maybe and people's love languages too, and how you give that and how you receive that. Some people like to do quality time, or some people just like acts of service. Hey, I know you're busy, you're not doing so much. I mean, you are doing so much in your job, but just come home and take out the trash or give me words of affirmation. Like you
Okay.
have to figure out how you receive love, how you give love, and communicate those things. If there's things
Mm,
that is happening that you're not getting, you need to talk to your partner. Like, hey, I know we're both busy, but hey, let's put out some time. Let's go on a vacation together. Let's even if we get to the point where we need to do some therapy together, like just how do we come back to each other always? You know what I mean?
mm,
Like how do we keep it spicy? How do we, how do our sex life get better with time? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you have to think about all those times because it gets mundane, it gets boring, it gets old, and that's not
absolutely.
just talking about sex. That's talking about everything in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Balancing that is just communication and putting forth the effort. If I want this as much as you want this, then we're gonna work towards it. You know what I mean? Like if you're not feeling this and I'm not feeling this, like that's something else we need to have a conversation about. Are we gonna do something different, or are we just gonna call it quits and
Right,
keep it moving? So yeah.
right.
It's all the same. The only aspect is our work schedule can be a little more grueling than a civilian sector.
Mm,
But all those things I just said, you would do that as a civilian as well. So it's just a matter of how much you want to work for it.
that's true.
Yeah,
What you guys for the?
there's no difference. It's just like we're human. We're not like robots or we're not different species. We don't live in a different world. Everything is pretty much the same. What you would do when you meet a female, you would do while operating in the military. The only thing you have to consider is literally your career choice because you
Mhm.
work for the military. You're working while in the military. That the military is your job, but you're still a
Mm-hmm.
human. All your values, your principles, your morals, everything that is bestowed in your heart is still gonna come to light when in the day. If you're a fuck boy, you're gonna be a fuck boy whether you put the uniform on or not. If you're
Mhm.
a woman of the night, you're gonna be a woman of the night whether you have the uniform on or not. It doesn't change. You don't turn like the uniform doesn't turn you into a whole nother person. You're still
Mm,
you. What I can
Mhm.
say about the military and dating and marriage, and yes, I am married. Shout out to my sexy man. We have been together 8 years, married 6, and it is a beautiful time. What I will say is that
I'm
there's
clapping it up
something
for you and your marriage, girl.
clap it up, girl, clap it up for my
Clap it
Illinois
up.
man.
Black love.
All
clapping.
right, shout out. We got 3 beautiful boys. Yes, I'm raising these kings out here. So there's something called a contract marriage in the military, right? And I will say dating in the military definitely puts you in a space to get married quickly. Because
Mhm.
if I was not in the military, I would have never married in my 20s. Not because I
Mm.
didn't want to get married, but because,
Mm,
in your 20s, you having a lot of fun. I really was discovering myself in my 20s. I
that
wasn't
part.
sure who I was with is who I would be with long term. But when you're in the military and there's a chance that you could be taken away from that person, not taken away, but you guys can be split up. You get married to stay together. You also get
Yeah.
married because you get paid a little bit more. And not that you get paid a little bit more. It's like a base salary and then there's like a plus salary. Let's say it like that.
Mm,
So the
right.
base salary, you live in the base is like a dorm room, right? But the plus salary, when you get a partner, a wife or a husband or a spouse these days, that's what they want to call it. When you get those, you get to go get you an apartment or a house.
Mm,
Now, the
Mhm.
military doesn't give you the apartment or the house. What they give you is an allowance so that you can be able to pay for your apartment or the house, right?
Mm,
So people like to say, "Oh, I'm gonna go get married so I can get extra money." Now that's where the contract marriage comes in at. So you get a person and you say, "Hey, listen, let's get married. If I marry
mm,
you, then I get a little bit more money." Now, if this person is not really your person, like your love, and y'all are just you guys just have a business transaction, you basically bargain with that person and say, hey, well, you can get military benefits as far as medical, dental, just like Crystal explained earlier, and I'll just get a little bit more money. That's usually the bargaining tool. Some people actually give their person a little allowance and things like that, but for the most part, they just get, the benefits that come with the military. So that's where you get a contract marriage in. And then you get we're dating. I'm about to PCS. That's basically moving. Okay, I'm moving
Hmm.
to another place. I'm about to PCS. So, hey, let's do this. Let's get
mm.
married so we can PCS together. So it
What
puts
does
you,
PCS mean?
it's permanent change of duty station.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you're moving from one place to another. So once you do that and you'll be like, let's do that. Now you could have been with somebody for a year. You could have been with somebody, some people 6 weeks, and they get married fast because of the fear that they will be separated from this person. And you didn't
Mm,
have enough time to really date. So then you
okay.
end up divorced later
Mm.
on because you didn't even really know that person. You didn't know if you liked that person, and you kind of just rushed into a marriage. Take myself and my husband. I was pregnant with my oldest, who is now who's turning 6. My husband lived in Illinois. He was stationed in Illinois. I was stationed in Texas. So we're living apart. I'm
Hmm.
pregnant and we get married so he can come to us. Well,
Mm,
my son had a heart condition. Getting married wasn't enough to bring my husband to us. We got married, but we had to wait until our move cycle aligned. So when it was time for me to and him to PCS at the same time, then they would have moved us together. That could have been
mm,
Hmm.
another 3 years because we had just got back to the States. So depending on when you get married or when you PCS, then you marry that person, when you leave, the next time y'all contracts align is when y'all come back together, right? My son
mm,
having the heart condition, he was able to come to Texas early. So
mm,
being being doesn't necessarily move you together if you guys moved apart. But if we would have got married in Korea, we would have never even been apart. We would have been
mm.
together. So people tend to get married just to stay with the person only to get divorced later, which is why I say shout out to my husband because you see the divorce rate is high in the military.
Yes,
Not
very
because
high.
we want it to be, but simply because most of us are marrying people just to, most of us are marrying people just so that we can move together versus
Mm,
I got to know you. I know you're the one for me. Most of the time it'd be like, yo, I'm really feeling this person. I deeply like this person, but damn, I'm about to PCS. So the
mm,
pressure of marriage is high. It's really high. I do love that about the military though. They promote marriage and
mm.
Hmm.
family. But unfortunately, because it's promoted so hard, people tend to jump ship and get into situations that they had no business getting into.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh,
Amen.
that's
I
crazy.
will also say this too. In the military, like time and everything just moves so fast for us. Like
Mm,
we could be with somebody for a month, 3 months, and we're like, oh my God, we're in love. You know what I mean? Like, I
oh,
don't know
wow.
what it is about being in the military, but we're like, we feel like we're set aside from everything else that's happening in life. And you got this person that's next to you knowing exactly what you're going through, speaking your same language. So you're like more drawn to get married, especially like in the military. They do promote marriage and they promote family, and you get more benefits for those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, in those aspects, everything moves so much faster in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal describing a lesbian relationship.
Oh,
What?
that too.
Wow, amazing. I
That's
mean,
the U-Haul marriage. Don't talk about that.
Listen, listen, Linda,
we gonna
listen.
leave the alphabet
So, all
people
jokes
alone.
aside, since I've been in the military, I haven't dated outside the military. But Crystal, I was in love in 3 months when I was out of the military. So I don't really know if that's a military thing or if it's a person thing. Like you just
It's probably a
easily
person thing. We
be
just simping all
easily
over
and
the
deep
world. We
in
just
life.
in
Like,
Oh
love.
yes, girl,
man.
be like, oh, I really like you. All of a sudden, it's like, I love you. What? How
No,
that's
I
your
feel like it's more
man?
in the military because we're like we go on these deployments for 6 months and you get closer to
Hmm.
people. Like in the military, I have a best friend that we have been best friends for what I just made 19 years. So
Okay.
we have been best friends for 17 years. Like in the military,
Hmm.
they're not just the people that you work with every day. They become your family, so you
Right.
become very close to people very early on. And the same with relationships, you become close to these people, so you feel like, okay, I want to venture out, I want this to be a relationship, I want to get married and all this other stuff. So I don't think people make friends in family and stuff like that or become close with people, true genuine friends and family, outside of the military like that. In the civilian sector, you go to work, you go home, and you mind your business. In the military, we're together all the time. We're going through the same shit together. So you become close with these people, and they're sometimes they're more family than your own family. They will
Amen.
come through for you more than anybody you've ever had in your life. So
Hmm.
shout out to people in the military who's keeping long distance relationships, regular relationships, friendships, marriages. Like it is a whole different ball game. And I feel
Yeah.
like than
Shout
in the
And
out.
it's
civilian
really
sector.
hard to navigate. It's hard to navigate when you're constantly moving. You're constantly having to get to know new people. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not a. I would say that if you are a civilian trying to date someone in the military, put your toughest skin on and make sure that you are okay with the constant changes. Because you kind of
Mm-hmm.
got to be a chameleon in order for that relationship to actually last. There's so much
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty. You're moving, you got to
Mm.
meet new people. You constantly doing it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Where while you're a
Mhm.
civilian, you're sitting there, you're stationed. Who
Right.
you
Mm-hmm.
are is who you are. You know, if I still lived in New York City, I had my core friends. They would still just be my friends. And I
Right.
probably
Yeah.
wouldn't meet too many, probably wouldn't make a lot of adult friends because I
Mm.
would have no need. I would meet people at work, but that would be about it. Especially in a
Yeah.
Mm.
world where people are not talking to each other anymore. Like you're not just walking
Oh
down
my
a block
gosh.
and, people
Mhm.
are like, oh, what's up? People will see you at a party and then hit you up on Instagram like, yo, I just saw you at this party. Okay, cool. I
Mm-hmm.
don't even know what's going on, but all right.
Right? Didn't even talk to you there, but we'll
Yes,
hit
like
Right.
you up. That's
it's
just weird.
insanity. So if I still was um home based in New York, I probably wouldn't have a lot of new people around me where the military
Mm-hmm.
provides that because the changeover is amazing. You're
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
constantly meeting new people. It forces you listen, if you're an introvert, you gonna be real sad or you gonna start making friends. Because you
Mm.
That
constantly
part.
moving.
That part.
You
Okay.
That
constantly
part.
moving. You constantly being pulled away. Something that's always brought up my husband and I raising our children away from our family. It is
Mm.
probably the saddest thing that I've
Mm-hmm.
experienced being in the military, but it's also liberating. I get to raise my kids the way I want to raise my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's certain
Okay.
things that I don't have to factor in or anything. But on the flip side, my kids don't really know their family. And then on top
Mm-hmm.
of that, there's no help. And people like to think that as mothers, we don't need help. Like, you had your baby. Yes, I did have my baby. But I would like to go get a drink real quick.
Hmm.
I would like a little help. And
Mm-hmm.
those civilians, that are home based, they usually have their grandparents, their siblings
Mm.
around. Because if
Mm-hmm.
I lived at home, I know my sister is taking her kids. I know Tyreek is taking my kids, excuse me, not her kids. She's taking her kids and mine, by the way. But
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have your family pulls together and they get the children for you, so you can still have a little bit of life. So being in the
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
military forced me to raise my children. That's first. I raise
Mm.
my children. I always
Mm-hmm.
have my children, and then to top it off, they don't the the other flip side is that they don't get the family experience. There's pros and there's cons all about it.
Hmm.
And dating in the military put us in a space because you may end up with somebody that is not from where you're from. And then what does that
Right.
look
Mm-hmm.
like? You know, my
Wow.
husband is from Illinois. I'm from New York. It is, I mean, we are two totally different people. Upbringing is different. Like life for us is just different. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to settle down somewhere, where do we go? So it forces
Oh,
you into a different space, you know. I can't
Okay.
pick New York, he can't pick Illinois, so we have to find like this balance. And yeah,
Right.
common ground.
it's it it's a lot and you just have to have
Uh, I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I want to get more into let's keep going with the family part. I also want to keep y'all too long either, so I got a few more questions. The family part, the family that you were born into, the friends that you have, when you guys are around. I think that like even myself, I want to sound general because this is my backyard too. I know for me, a brother and being a cousin to people that are in service, I feel that when you guys are away, it's PTSD for us because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if you guys are going to come back. I know there were a lot of times where I felt a little bit like a coward because I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
well, my sister's in there and here I am doing shit. Like at the end of the day. And then there's the flip side of things. Let's talk about your return. We do have, and it's funny. I like I said earlier, I am guilty of it. Of feeling like, well, now you guys got the bag, so yeah, I could come and just be around and give me money and help me. Like, I want to say this though. Listening to you guys speak about like the ins and outs of what goes on when it's the family, do you feel that family becomes enabled and starts to have the sense of entitlement to feel like you should be traveling to them, you should be coming to them, you should give them things that they feel like they should be access to because of the position that you guys are in? Do you feel like we put you guys on an unfair pedestal?
Yes. Yes. And Davina could attest to this too.
Okay.
First of all, for us coming home, like for me, I've been to New York recently, right? But before
Okay.
that, I was not in New York for like 7 years.
Okay.
um Coming home, we have to spend the time. First of all, we have to take off of work, right? So
Okay.
we get 30 days a month, I mean 30 days a year to vacation, right? So we're counting against our vacation days. We're spending our hard-earned money, which is not always a lot. It's what you do with the money to make it better. But we're spending our money, and then we come, so say we come home to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody and their mama thinks you got the funds to do A, B, C, D, and they want you to come to them. Mind you,
Right.
I live in Hawaii.
Okay.
Flights from Hawaii is over $1,000 each time,
Mm.
right? So me coming to New
hmm
York, having the time and energy, mind you, when I take leave, it's not always a lot. It's probably maybe like 5 days or what have you. If I'm
Okay.
taking my time out, you should come and meet me. It's
Mm.
always, oh, come see me here, come see me there. Or when I was stationed in Virginia and I was visiting New York when I had a car, oh, give me a ride here, give me a ride there. First of all, what would you be doing if I was not here with my car?
Oh my
You would
Walking.
get
God.
a you would get around, or you would find a way to get around without me, right?
Right.
So do that same thing, or use that same energy that you're telling me to come see you, come visit, do this and that. Like, how about y'all have a dinner for me? How about y'all show me some appreciation? Because I took the
Yes.
time out to come and see y'all and
Mm-hmm.
spend my money and spend time with the family. Also, being in the military, it provides people opportunity to come visit us.
Okay.
Like, I don't know
Yes.
much of my family who's been to Hawaii, but yet I've been here almost a year and nobody's come visit me. But
Mm.
everybody wants me to come out and visit them. Like, family
You're
needs to have
actually
the
at a
same
vacation
energy.
spot.
I am at a vacation spot. I have 3 bedrooms. I have a big ass house. Like, people could come, and I tell people all the time, it's just me and my daughter. I be bored and lonely. Won't y'all come visit me?
Amen. About
But
to
they
come
don't have
over.
the money. They don't have the time. But I could have the time and money to come and visit you. So it goes both ways. Y'all need to understand we are all human, yes. We are taking our money out and we're taking our time out. Like, just
Mm.
reciprocate and give us the same energy because we love you guys. We want to be around you guys. Because
Yes.
the military puts us in isolation. Like she said,
Mm.
when we're raising our children, we don't have our village with us. So we have to create our own villages with people that are around us, because we don't have that opportunity to have. My mom is not right next door who could, watch my
Mm-hmm.
kid
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case is. So we're creating these things. So it would be nice and it would be lovely if people would be like, you know what, let's go visit Chris. Let's go visit Vina. Like, let's show them some love like they've been showing us some love. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, it needs to be the
Yeah.
same energy reciprocated.
Yes. And I
Mm.
think that what I would be very specific on saying is that what I've noticed throughout my journey is that the family that you were born into usually takes for granted the time and energy we put into keeping those connections. And the reason why I
Mhm.
say that is because we don't have to go home. It is a
Mhm.
choice. We can go on vacation. We can go see, like I just said, I got friends in Nebraska. I've never been to Nebraska. I've never been to North Dakota. We have choices and we choose every time to go back to family because that is
Mm.
what's important to us. I tend to find that when we're out of sight, we're also out of mind. And
Mm.
Mhm.
it's a sad thing when you sit down and you think about, dang, I always go back home. And you just wonder, damn, is it important for them to see me? Because I only see them if I go to them. So I wonder
Mm.
Mhm.
if they even, if they're even thinking about me. Um, Shout out to the phones, FaceTime, because I FaceTime my family a lot, especially my siblings. We be on the phone for hours. So,
Mm.
Mhm.
you get that, but when it comes to just being in the physical, going to, I find that it's usually us going. And it may be what Tariq said, a little bit of, people thinking like, well, y'all got it so y'all
Mhm.
could come. But other times, I'm not sure if it's that. It might just be they wasn't thinking about it. Or my sister actually did tell me that she didn't know that it was important to me until I actually
Mhm.
said it. So when I said it, it was like, oh, wow, she actually wants us to come see her. And I was confused because I was like, how the hell you don't know I want you to come see me if I'm always coming home to see y'all? I'm coming
Right?
there
Or I'm
because I
always
miss
telling you I miss
y'all.
you.
Right. That's
Exactly.
Mhm.
me saying I miss you. I need to be around that love. I need to be around family.
Mm.
And
But that's where communication comes into play too,
yes,
because on their part, they probably don't know how it does affect us, or that we do feel
right,
isolated, or
right.
that we do want to see our family. So
Mm.
we do have to be better at communicating all around.
Yes, and
Right.
that was hard for me because I don't like to seem like I'm begging, and I do in my mind, I be like, well, if I'm doing this, they should be
They should
doing
be
this.
doing. Yep.
And
Or
I
they
had
should be
to
thinking
learn,
this.
right. Especially because of how close we all are, it was
Mm.
like, why don't they know that I want to see them?
Mhm.
So I had just chucked it up to they didn't want to see me. And
Mhm.
as we grew in this thing, we are 13 years in. As we grew into it, I realized that I needed to say it because no, we don't all think the same, and it's not going to be the same for all of us. So I did need to say it, and I'm glad that I did. Things got a lot
Mhm.
better after I did say it, and then I wanted to touch on, the navigating the friendships. I lost
Mm.
a lot of friends from my childhood. I'm not gonna say a lot of friends. I'm gonna say like two. To me, that's a lot,
Okay.
but
That's a lot.
but
Especially if
but
they were
Especially
close.
adults got
Mm.
like only 5 friends.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So from my childhood, and I think that I had to chuck it up to growing apart and not growing in the same
Mhm.
space because
Mhm.
when we were kids, there were certain things that we just never touched on. We just took everything for face value. Who you was while you was in front of me was what was who you are, right? As we got older, we got deeper into our core values and what's important to us, how we feel people should and shouldn't move, or I don't like that. I don't want that around me, especially
Mhm.
right now in this space where everybody's throwing around therapy terms. Half of the people ain't never been to therapy, but they are throwing around the term, boundaries and grace
And
and
cancel
gratitude.
culture and
Oh
all
my
this stuff.
goodness,
Mm.
all of that and navigating those friendships when you're not growing up around each other and growing up together, you're growing
Mhm.
apart. So now
Mm.
you and your friend who you may have thought you thought y'all was the same person. You start to realize, yo, we're not the same person at all. We don't have the same
Yeah.
values. We don't have the same goals. We don't even think alike. Actually, I was just chilling with you because we were trauma bonded. Or actually, I
Mm-hmm.
was just chilling with you because there was nobody else around. Like, just,
Yeah.
so you start to find out, like, as an adult, that you and this person is no longer compatible. But shout out to
Right.
those friends because they are part of my history. And
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
no, it, I don't compare my old friends to my now friends. I don't compare my now friends to my family because I understand everything is separate, right? And some, I
Mm-hmm.
had a friend tell me, you don't include me in your military life. And I
Mm.
had sat back and I was like, I don't include you in my military life? Or are you not including yourself in my life, period? Because there's no
Mm.
military life. They're not separate. I come
Right.
home, I bring my military friends home. They meet
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
family, you know,
Yep.
they meet my friends. So if my friends or my family doesn't know what's going on in my current life, they're not asking too many questions. They're not,
Mm-hmm.
they're not
Mm-hmm.
really
They're
looking
not
in.
inserting themselves in your life like
Right.
they used to.
Where me, I'm like, well, who is that? And oh, I heard you say a new name. Who's that? Where did you meet that person? Because I care. I want to know what's going on. So sometimes we got to look at it, balance again. You scratch
Right.
my back, I
Mm-hmm.
scratch yours. If you love
Mm-hmm.
me, love me. I love you, I'm gonna love you. And whatever that
Mm-hmm.
looks like. So I'm in the space where I'm saving space for people to love me in their way and not the way that I want them to love me because I'm
Yes.
learning that with that expectation, I'm gonna get hurt. And being
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
I'm away from family, there's a lot of things that I can misunderstand. Being that
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
away from those friends that I have history with, there's a lot of things that can be misunderstood. So instead
Mm-hmm.
of, creating spaces where I'm mad at you because you didn't do something that I felt like you should do or handle something the way I felt like you should handle, I just leave space for everybody to love the way they love. That
Mm-hmm.
way nobody gets hurt because again, I'm over here. I'm in Georgia and
Right.
everybody else is in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do? We're gonna be mad for what? For what? I just
Mm-hmm.
gotta
Absolutely.
live my everyday life the way I live it, and I can't be mad at what's happening in New York because I made the
Mm-hmm.
choice to leave.
Yeah.
Right. That part, I can empathize with both you guys. I'm not away because of the military, but I am away because I made choices to
Yes,
step away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm empathetic to the part of being away. I can say for myself and my experience, we all on this segment right now, we all in three different states,
Mm-hmm.
coasters, if you will.
yes,
And for me, like the understanding is just having to navigate and having to build relationships. I'm a introverted person like by right, but I had to be extroverted and I had to conversate and put myself out there and become social again. But
Yeah.
I'm so accustomed to being around family and the friends that I'm accustomed to, and it does get lonesome to where it's like, although you create a family, you make new friends, you want to see the people that know you from the person you've created, but someone who used to sleep in the same bed with you or broke morning with you, or you could reminisce on stories that like before the money, before anything came to broke you, the person who lived in a house you, and it does suck when you can't just jump on a train or jump on a bus and go to the
Yeah.
block and just sit there for a second, or
Mm-hmm.
like what V said, watching all of our family in New York. There's functions going on. There's a cookout going
Yes.
on, and I'll
I
be like,
always
dang,
feel like I'm missing.
even though like I do have opportunity, I have outlets to do that where I'm at. I do feel like, I would like to have that closeness of, be a part of that, like with my family too. Not saying they're not family, it's just their family in a different way. But
right.
I
I want to
Yeah.
be
also
in the
learned,
pictures.
Right?
right, yeah. But I also learned, like, being away is to where you actually do visit and you go, you appreciate being there, but now you want to go back because your new life is that's where
Oh,
you're at and that's where you get accustomed to.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
go to
you
New
get a
yo,
York and
fix,
be
a
happy
quick
that I'm
fix.
there. Yeah, I'll be happy I'm there to be ready to go within like 2 or 3 days. Like, okay,
that is
I
so
just
me.
I just want to leave now. But I say that to say is that like I think the people that go away and are able to adapt to the environments that they are, they the real MVPs. Not everyone can actually go away,
Mhm.
go through the motions of being homesick, go through the motions of that depression and learning how to adapt to new environments and actually sticking and standing. Like so I commend y'all just for being in the military doing it.
Thank you,
Um
thank,
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
right.
thank
I got
you.
one last question for you guys. You guys are both active at this moment, right? I want to make sure I don't want to get it wrong.
I'm in the reserves, but yes, I'm still in the military. Yes.
Okay. Crystal.
Yes, I'm currently active. Just came up on 19 years.
Okay. So my question to you ladies are if you guys are going to how do you say deactivate or like retire? Is what?
It's either retirement or separation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when
Just
you
get out.
guys decide when you guys decide to separate, what is the difficulties that you feel that you're gonna have adjusting back into the regular lifestyles?
Ooh. Okay, I'll go
Oh,
first.
okay.
Because I'm currently going through this. I'm at 19 years. So in the
Okay.
military, when you hit 20, you're able to retire. You can go past 20, right?
Okay.
So right now I'm gonna go past 20 only by 1 year because I had to observe to come to Hawaii. But I constantly find myself with an anxiety of first, where do I go? Because
Mm-hmm.
I can at this point I can live anywhere. I've experienced enough places to be like, oh, okay, well I could go to this state, that state. I don't necessarily have to go back home. The one thing about the military is that they tell you where to be, how to be, what time to be, and stuff like
Right.
that. So that was I was very comfortable in that because I never had a job before the military. The military is my first job.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to navigate those civilian parts of where do I go. Also, what do I because now I have this experience of the military, but I also have my ideas of what I think civilian life would be like. And it's kind of some things may be unrealistic because we've had the opportunities to have our base pay, our
Mm,
Yes.
other
Yes.
allowances like allowances for food, allowances for housing, and I won't have that portion of finances anymore. So it gets tricky on what do I want to do, where do I want to live, how do I want to navigate my life. Right now I feel like I don't want to work for nobody. I worked for
Mm-hmm.
somebody for
Mm-hmm.
19 years, and at the time that I retire, God willing, I don't know where when I will retire.
mhm,
I'm waiting for the Lord to give me a sign and tell me when. But
man.
at the time when I do retire, a lot of the transition is going to be, although there's some bad aspects of the military, there's very good aspects about the benefits and how it's created a life that is simple for us in a sense, not completely simple, but it's
Mm-hmm.
told us where to be, what to do. And now that I'm getting out, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I go through this like every other week. I'm like, oh, I'm confident. I'm gonna do this. This is where I'm gonna be. This is what my life. And then I have other complications where I'm like, well, the Navy has made it easy for me. I could just stay in or I could just go this place.
Mhm,
So navigating the comfortableness, our finances, and location will probably be the hardest thing for me. Also, the
mhm,
fact in the civilian sector, you can get fired at any time. In the military, it's
Yes.
not that easy. You know what I mean? Like my smart mouth might get me fired in one day, or my tardiness might get me fired. I don't know. But in the military, like you have some leadway. Yes, you could, you get reprimanded for certain things, but at the same time, you have a stability that I'm not sure that the civilian sector has. And that's what I'm most weary of and afraid of and get anxiety about. So
Yes.
it's going to be a transition and I'm going to just pray on it and go from.
You got it,
amen.
cousin. You got it. You got
You
it.
got it. You got it.
So
What you got, me?
I've actually already experienced it because as I said in 2020, well, I didn't say the date, but I did say to you guys that I am reserved now. So in 2020, they were trying to deploy me somewhere that I did not want to go
Okay.
because my son, I didn't want to leave him. I'm a first time mom, and I had realized right then and there that being a mother was more important than my paycheck. So I decided
Hmm.
that I was no longer going to be in the service. However, I love the military so much that I love the army so much because the army literally saved my life. You guys don't know
Mhm.
me, but Davina was a badass growing up. And due to my upbringing, I didn't have any direction or purpose. And when the
Mhm.
military, I literally was at a job fair with my sister, and a National Guard recruiter was there. And he said only the top 1% in the world joins the military.
Mhm.
I felt like he was coming at me a little bit, trying to say like I wasn't the sugar honey iced tea. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like you bugging out because I'm better than your 1%. And right then and there, I was turned on. And then my cousin, she introduced me to a couple of people that she knew that was actually in the service. And they were not National Guard, they were
Okay.
active duty. And that
Mm-hmm.
from there, I was told I was going, and I found my footing in the world. So the military
Mhm.
literally saved my life. I probably would have been in somebody's cell, because yeah, I was a
Mhm.
badass. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't want to get fully out, so I joined the reserve, which is like being a part-time soldier. If you are looking to go in the military, go active. Do not go reserve. That's all I'll say about that. But
Okay.
um, I just didn't want to let it go. So
Shade in
I
there.
joined I joined the reserves, which means that I'm more civilian than I am soldier. So
Okay.
the
Mhm.
hardest part is exactly what Crystal said. Financially, you are now on your own. You have to go find a job. You have to figure it out. And yes, we do come out with certain credentials, but those credentials don't land us a job. Half of
Mm-hmm.
us don't know how to interview because we don't have to interview to go into the military. And then we haven't interviewed because we've been in the military this entire time.
Wow.
So,
Mhm.
and then a lot of us, depending on what job you were doing in the military, you don't even have the skill set to go out into
Mhm.
the civilian world and get a good paying job. When I got
Or
out,
it's
I
not
had no,
transferable.
right. When I got out, I had noticed like I'm looking for jobs. And they was saying stuff like $15 an hour. No shade to nobody that works for $15 an hour. I
Mm-mm.
love you. I
Can't do it.
understand where you at. But for me, that was like I just served 10 years in the military. There's no way in hell I'm taking that type of pay cut. Now, if
Mhm.
I didn't have a job prior to, I would take $15 an hour. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right now, that was a no. I was like, absolutely not. $12 an hour. My homeboy, he just retired 22 years. He said that he took a security job, $14 an hour. Now, listen, there's a reason why he took that security job. He is 100%. So he took this security job just to get out of his house and be able to
Mhm.
do something. But he quit within a week because he was
Mm.
like, I'm working these crazy hours. The paycheck to the hours don't add up. I'm not doing it. So I understood that we were in the same boat. And he just got out. I didn't I didn't even last. I went in for the interview, and when they said how much I was getting paid, I said no thank you. Have a blessed one. I didn't even go get a job. So naturally, because I still need money, my husband takes care of me very well, but I need my own cash. I become an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. I do believe that that is the route to go when you
Mhm.
are leaving the service. If you don't have a government job lined up or you don't know exactly which way to go, start with entrepreneurship. It is beautiful. It's a beautiful life. I am a life coach, and I
Mhm.
believe that if you decide, you can decide your pay, you can decide how hard you want to work, and you
Yep.
don't have a boss. You are your boss. There's nobody telling you you can't take vacation. That was the upside of being in the military. I
Mhm.
took my vacation. Nobody told me you can't take your vacation at this. You can't do this. There was no. I had a friend who told me that there was a black holiday or something like a black date. She couldn't take her leave on certain days because it was high traffic for her job during that time. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I need to be able to go when
Mm-mm.
I want to go. You're not going to tell me that I can't go to my son's basketball game. I need to be able to do this. And this is what a lot of
Mhm.
civilians tell me that their issues are. The military, on the first day of school, they let all the parents go. Take your kids
Yeah.
to school. They get the damn Super Bowl the morning of the Super Bowl because they know everybody gonna be drunk. The
Yep.
next day, everybody coming late. The
Yep.
military understands the pressures of life. While out in the civilian world, I guess they feel like we got a business to run. We don't have time because the government is not funding this. We have a
Hmm.
business to run. So if you're late, you're fired. If you're drunk and
Mm.
hungover, you're fired. If you
Wow.
have a drinking problem, not my problem. You're
Oh
fired.
my
Like
goodness. Yep.
if you
Sucks.
like there's just certain things that I understood like this doesn't work well with my transition because what I
Okay.
want to do and what they're telling me I have to do, I just can't do it. It's no way I'm gonna do it. It's no
Okay.
way. And then on top of that, how you're treated. I'm
Wow.
34 years old. You not 22 talking to me all crazy. I don't even know
Yeah.
The New
what that.
York is coming out.
Yeah, that's
Right.
not gonna work for me. So yeah.
I
The
do got
transition is amazing.
I know I said that was the last question, but I should have asked this
It's
because I feel
okay.
like it's important. I feel like V, you tied into it a little bit, so I don't. You would probably just have to answer the ending of the question. But Crystal, we didn't get to hear yours. So my last question is, why did you join, and are there any regrets you have about joining?
Okay. Well, I'll go first since I answered the why did I join. The only regret that I have about joining is again my family. I grew up in a big family. I have a lot of siblings, and my sons don't get the cousin experience. They get
Mm,
the sibling experience, but they don't get the cousin experience. They didn't get the full grandparent experience. They didn't get the aunt's experience, the uncle's experience.
mm-hmm.
They didn't get that. They don't get that because they live away. And unfortunately, unless my siblings buy into my family compound, don't forget, hint, I'm putting it out there. Unless we can all come together and live together, then they will never get that experience. They will grow up
Hmm.
knowing their family on FaceTime. And that's my only regret. That literally is my only regret. Because I met a
Respect,
sexy man, so yeah.
Crystal.
The reason why I joined the military because at the time I was like, I'm done with freaking high school. I don't want to be in New York no more. Like people that grow up in New York, you're ready to go for the most part. Some people diehard fans of New York. There's better out there to
Me, I'm a
experience
diehard
in life.
fan.
We're still diehard fans, to experience something different. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to live with my mom. I didn't want to just go to college. At the time, I hated going to school, which I'm going to school now for a bachelor's degree, but I just wanted to get away. And the easiest, fastest way to do that was the military to gain some experience and still get paid while doing it. You know what I mean? Because, like, coming out of high school, where you're going to get, you don't know where you're going to get your money from. You're going to college, living off of ramen noodles or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I wanted to get away and I wanted to get paid right away. Now, my biggest regret was not going to college first. I do not have that college experience, and I think living adult life before coming in the military would have been beneficial. I probably still would have joined because of all the things that the military has to offer.
Yes, that was
But
good.
getting that experience to live a semi adult life prior to joining the military, because when you're in the military, you're 18 years old, but you're looked at as an adult. You got to figure out and navigate life, and you have no experience yet, or you're put in places that you've never been, never even heard of, and you're navigating those things. I when I joined the military right after boot camp and A school, I went right on deployment. I had never
Yeah.
left New York City. Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing, you know what I mean? So the only thing I would have joined, I would have gone to college first, gained some experience, lived life as an adult a little bit, and then come in the military. But I
Yes.
have no regrets other than that, and it was the best decision of my life because I would have not experienced half of the things that I've experienced in the military if I had stood home in New York. So
Yes.
I say to
I agree.
this, if you're thinking about joining the military, Just go for it. Do your research on which branch you want to join and the many opportunities that each branch provides for you. And then if you're getting out the military, if you've joined and you're getting out, be confident in who you are. Use your experience in the military, and you will do good in life. And
Yes.
pray about everything every day.
Amen.
Amen.
So
Amen.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So you chatters and talkers out there, first and foremost, V, Crystal, it was a pleasure. It was a great opportunity to pick you guys' minds, and I've learned a lot actually just having this conversation with you ladies that I didn't know, and I hope someone else out there catches that. I definitely had fun. It was a great experience. If you guys don't have any closing things to say about the military out there, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to say bye to the folks.
Yes.
I
Thank you
just
for
want to say
having
thank you
us.
for the opportunity.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't
This
get
is
to talk about the military in this aspect of our everyday lives. So thank you for the opportunity.
yeah,
Yes. And
and
to
I'm
the
be
Let's
glad that.
Talk About It listeners, my voice is gone, but when I come back on, I got y'all. Shout out to the Let's
All
Talk About It
right.
podcast, man.
Yes, clap it up for the
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Let's do it. All right. So that concludes this episode of Let's Talk About It. You can tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, you can also check me out on my social medias. We now got a Facebook, I did tell you guys last time. So the Facebook is Let's Talk. And you can also screen clips on Instagram at Let's underscore Talk 2025. You know my rules. You can follow at me, like, share, and subscribe. IG, Twitch Johnson underscore TW. For you ladies, you guys could repeat your hashtags and where to find you at on your social medias, and we could say bye to the people.
All right, I'll go first. Facebook at Crystal Nicole. So that's KRYSTALNICOLE. And on Instagram, which is not about me, it's more about my braids and nails. But if you want to follow me there, that is Crystal's Corner, KRYSTALSKORNER underscore nails braids. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's me, Davina. That is spelled Davina. Okay. So on Facebook, I am Davina V. Thomas. And on Instagram, which I am revamping, it is under construction, just Davina T. Looking
There
forward to
you have it.
connecting with everyone.
All right. With that being said, that concludes the show. I'll miss y'all. Talk to me later. One.